Hello and welcome to This is Public Broadcasting. I'm your host, Captain Rutledge. Let's go back in time, 20 years. It's 2004. You're coming home from school. You put together a quick, healthy snack. You turn on the TV. Instead of the usual PBS Kids programming, something new has taken its place. This is the first broadcast of the new programming block, PBS Kids Go. In 2004, noticing a lack of programming for elementary school children on the PBS Kids block, PBS created the PBS Kids Go block to provide educational and informative programming for older children. The new block hit the airwaves on Columbus Day 2004. How did the block fare? Well, we should face the fact that a lot of older kids would prefer mindless entertainment than learning something extra after a long day of school. Nonetheless, the block was considered somewhat of a success, lasting 9 years before being abandoned in 2013. Today, I feel we should pay tribute to the programming block, explore its shows, interstitials, and whatever else is cool. The whole programming block aesthetic relied mostly on blocks. The whole PBS Kids Go area was made up of lime green blocks and kids traversing the space like they're in an M.C. Escher painting. It definitely stands in contrast of the usual dash and dot interstitials on the regular PBS Kids block. Heck, the start of the block pretty much has Dash getting unwittingly transformed into the PBS Kids Go logo. Don't worry, kids, he should be okay. Other segments during the block include spotlights for shows, regular kids doing amazing things like surfing or making everything out of duct tape, and then short films of kids making mundane activities like taking out the trash amazing. It sort of plays into the old PBS Kids motto of use your imagination. More about the interstitials will come later. For now, let's take a look at the programs broadcast on the network. Two items on the docket were very well-established pillars of PBS Kids programming, Arthur and Cyber Chase. Upon premiere in 2004, two more shows were added to the programming lineup, Maya and Miguel, and Postcards from Buster. Maya and Miguel was created by WGBH Boston and Scholastic Media executive Deborah Forte and former Sesame Street and Between the Lines producer Carlos Dorta. The show follows the adventures of twin siblings Maya and Miguel Santos as they go through daily life in their community. Whenever a friend or family member has an issue requiring attention, Maya has one of her SOS moments, which ultimately backfire, but in the end she's able to set things right. Maya and Miguel aired on PBS Kids Go for 5 seasons from 2004 to 2007, racking up 65 episodes in total. Maya and Miguel was part of an initiative for PBS Kids at the time to include greater diversity in its programming lineup. Both Maya and Miguel are of Hispanic descent, their mother and abuela being Mexican and their father being Puerto Rican. Even their friends and neighbors hail from diverse backgrounds. Amongst the side characters are Maya and Miguel's parents, Santiago and Rosa Santos, their abuelita Elena, cousin Tito, and their friends Theo, Chrissy, Maggie, and Andy. And let's not forget their pet parrot, Paco.
Very cool, very cool.
Big mistake often made with shows with diverse casts is that a character's background becomes their only personality trait. Thankfully, all the characters in Maya and Miguel are able to skirt away from the problem, being funny, likable, and pretty well-rounded. In addition to the diverse cast, each episode focuses on the importance of community, family, and friends, plus responsibility and citizenship. Maya's plans often go awry despite the best of intentions, but only after talking face-to-face with family and friends is she able to make things better. It is somewhat formulaic, but the show tends to branch out of this basic formula to add freshness and extra humor to each episode. On the whole, not too shabby. and a great new series for the new PBS Kids Go programming block. Each Maya and Miguel episode, for syndication purposes, only ran about 22 minutes, leaving more time for extra PBS Kids Go material. After each episode, a Go Figure segment would play featuring a fun trivia question for the kids at home. Something to stump your teachers with as well. A few times, the Go Figure would be a slam poetry riddle by a group of hip youngsters. Arguably, these weren't the most enjoyable ones. Additionally, other Go Figure moments would be offered up on the PBS Kids Go website. One other segment would be the amazing colossal adventures of Word Girl, but we'll get into that one later on. Now, Postcards from Buster. A spin-off series of Arthur, Postcards from Buster featured Arthur's best friend, Buster Baxter, traveling with his dad, Bo, while serving as pilot for the traveling band Los Viajeros. Wherever Buster travels, he creates a video postcard for his friends back in Elwood City. The series was preceded by a special Arthur episode called, Postcards from Buster, setting up the premise for the series going ahead. Although scenes of Buster, Bo, and Los Viajeros are animated, the view through Buster's video camera is live action, featuring real kids and families showing daily life throughout the United States and neighboring countries.
How do you measure a pumpkin?
We take 3 measurements on the pumpkin and plug that into a chart, and it gives us an estimate how much the pumpkin actually weighs.
Destinations were varied. One day, Buster might be learning conjunto music in San Antonio. Another day, he would be trying to do winter sports in Utah or learning about Jewish traditions in Manhattan. Throughout the series, Buster visits the following states, often more than once. Of course, the natural choices are shown like Texas, California, New York, but we also see some often overlooked states like the Dakotas, Wyoming, and Oregon. It's a shame they weren't able to visit every state in the Union. Even Alaska gets the short end of the stick here. What's more, the animated segments are of significantly lower quality than what you would find on an Arthur at the time. Obviously a cost-cutting measure for budgetary reasons. At this point, I really ought to mention the Sugar Time controversy. While visiting Heinsberg, Vermont, Buster stays with a family with lesbian parents. Nowadays, this type of episode would be applauded. In 2005, though, this was highly controversial. Secretary of Education Margaret Spelling spoke out against the episode, and PBS was forced to pull the episode from a number of its station lineups. In the fallout, PBS CEO Pat Mitchell was forced to step down, and Spellings made plans to cut the show's funding. And then came the right-wing political commentators. I'd just like to quote Russell Howard on this one.
Whoa, chill out. They're teaching them tolerance, not technique.
For what we had, though, viewers were able to meet different cultures in a diverse nation. Highly admirable.
Here, have some more wasabi peas.
Good idea. Whoa, that does the trick.
So, those were the first 4 shows on the PBS Kids Go lineup for the first year or so. In summer of 2006, a new series was added. Theme music.
Oh, I like that name.
Created by Kate Taylor and produced by WGBH, Fetch with Ruff Ruffman was sort of a game show spiritual successor to the previous series, Zoom. For each of the 5 seasons, 6 contestants would compete for points and prizes by undertaking challenges given to them by the show's host, Ruff Ruffman, voiced by Jim Conroy.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, I need a towel. Okay. Oh, that's even worse. Okay, yeah.
Don't back away. We'll return to Fetch with Ruff Ruffman in just a moment.
Challenges could be along the lines of learning to windsurf, exploring a haunted house, or even going through astronaut training. Naturally, to fit in with PBS's core educational values, each challenge had a lesson behind it dealing with science, history, and technology. For example, a challenge where the contestants build a boat covers buoyancy, or a trip back in time to Plymouth Colony covers what life was like back in 1625. And so on and so on. Naturally, to keep things fresh each season, every new season would have a new overarching narrative. Season 1 was rather haphazard, with Ruff struggling to get things started. Season 2 would see Ruff getting an intern, his boss's niece's cat, Blossom.
Maybe this could be a whole new chapter in the history of dogs and cats. Love, respect, and... Blossom, could you move your litter box someplace else so no one steps in it? Thanks.
In Season 3, Blossom became Ruff's boss, while Ruff gets a new assistant mouse named Chet.
Do you do any filing, Chet? Any typing? Where are you going? Wait, no, you cannot just... Hey, no, I didn't say you could stay.
Season 4 had Ruff looking for the lost helmet of victory, and the 5th and final season had Ruff searching for his long-lost parents, while his show had competition from a literal copycat.
Chet, don't try to get their autographs.
Jim Conroy's performance as Ruff, as well as other animated side characters, brought life to the series with slick improv skills and genuine charm.
I ever get a fetcher lost. Never in the history of this show have I lost a contestant for more than like 2 minutes.
On the whole, elements that came together to create one heck of a show.
Stay tuned, cat grooming with Whoppers, Drixie, and Chin Chin coming up next.
Hey, how did that get on? But I'm not done with my poem yet.
Fetch was more for younger audiences, but for older audiences, there was Design Squad. Another WGBH series, Design Squad was hosted by Nate Ball and Deanne Bell. Much like Fetch, it featured contestants undertaking challenges and winning points. Unlike Fetch, though, each episode would have the contestants divide into different teams for each episode, with each episode's winning team earning points. Each challenge would be a STEM-centered engineering challenge, say, converting kitty toys into drag racers, or putting together cameras to better capture a basketball game. Winning team members would be awarded points by the hosts, and whoever had the most points at the end of the series would be awarded a $10,000 college scholarship from Intel. A short-lived spin-off, Design Squad Nation, premiered in 2011, hosted by Judy Lee and Adam Vollmer. Each episode would feature different junior inventors across North America, putting aside the team challenge format in favor of an inventor spotlight and singular challenge. These episodes were made available on the PBS Kids Go website and can still be found on the PBS Kids streaming service today, in addition to a few older episodes.
Yeah! Winner, chicken dinner! Woo! Yeah!
And yet, more shows began to pop up on PBS Kids Go in 2007. Reruns of Wishbone started airing on PBS Kids Go channel, while on the programming block, PBS Kids Go received its first superheroine. Word up, it's Word Girl. Before becoming its own dedicated TV series, Word Girl started as a series of short segments that would air between shows or after episodes of Maya and Miguel. These short episodes introduced the character of Word Girl and her monkey sidekick, Captain Huggy Face, along with villains of the week like the Butcher, Dr. Two Brains, Granny May, Toby, and Chuck the evil sandwich-making guy.
I will obliterate you, destroy all other sandwich-making methods, and take over the city!
With sandwiches?
Yeah.
I don't buy it.
Sounds absurd to me.
You stay out of this.
The series proper was created by Dorothy Gillum and produced by WGBH. Dana Furman stars as Becky Botsford, mild-mannered 10-and-a-half-year-old with a broad vocabulary. Should her city fall under attack by villains, Becky transforms into Word Girl, superheroine from the planet Lexicon, alongside her pet monkey Bob, aka Captain Huggy Face. Together, they fight crime, help the innocent, and deliver lessons on vocabulary.
This suit has some astonishing powers. Astonish? Oh, well, it means to fill with wonder or amazement. It also means really surprised.
Where Word Girl really shined was with its writing. The show brought on writers from a wide array of comedic programs like Saturday Night Live, The Simpsons, Tiny Toon Adventures, and even The Onion. The voice actors themselves came from a wide array of backgrounds, including Chris Parnell, Tom Kenny, Patton Oswalt, H. John Benjamin, and Gray Delisle, not to mention guest stars like Stephen Root, Amy Sedaris, Ed Asner, Jack McBrayer, Jim Gaffigan, and Weird Al Yankovic. This lends to both witty writing and delivery, while still having time to put in the day's featured words. As a result, the show has had somewhat of a cult following in recent years. And I may have assisted in that cult following in some way. With 8 full seasons and a TV movie, Word Girl demonstrated to viewers the power of words and importance of vocabulary. Truly a colossal series.
Well, Chuck, looks like the only demands you'll be able to make will be in prison.
I can take it from here.
And speaking of language comprehension, we move on to a series syndicated to PBS Kids Go, Animalia. Created by Graham Bass and the brains behind Animaniacs, Animalia originally aired on Australia's Network 10 before coming to PBS Kids Go in 2008. The series features kids Alex and Zoe who discover a portal to the world of Animalia, where they befriend characters like Gabubu Gorilla, Iggy the Iguana, Livingston Lion, and Reenie Rhino. All is not well, however, as the core of Animalia is ruptured, shooting spores across the world. It's up to Alex and Zoe to help retrieve the spores and save Animalia, while dodging villains like Tyrannicus Tiger and the Creeper.
You haven't seen me. I don't exist. I'm a ghost, right? Definitely a creepy ghost.
While the animation for the series has aged pretty poorly, and a few jokes come across rather stiff, there is nonetheless a captivating narrative across the series pertaining to the core. Any conflict occurring in Animalia causes a rupture in the core, shooting out core spores and causing trouble. For example, an excess of noise in the episode Speechless in Animalia causes the speech spore to blast away, taking away everybody's voice. In What's the Good Word, the peace spore is lost after Tyrannicus' new country of Tyrania declares war on Livingston and Animalia. Finding the spores usually involves character growth on the part of our main cast, and a further understanding of the importance of speech and language. On the whole, it helps create a fleshed out world and a compelling narrative for a pretty decent series.
Do you know what this means?
Yes, I do. It means I'm going to brush, floss, and gargle tonight.
I like a girl with good dental hygiene.
And did somebody say reboot?
No!
Well, too bad. In 2009, the Sesame Workshop rebooted its cult 70s series, The Electric Company, for a new generation of readers. Where the classic series featured a troupe of actors performing unrelated skits for the audience at home, this reboot has an entirely different premise, somewhat reminiscent of Between the Lions. The main storyline features a group of teens with special powers who form the Electric Company. Hector, Lisa, Jessica, and Keith. Their adversaries are the neighborhood pranksters, Francine Carruthers, Annie Scrambler, Danny Rebus, and Manny Spamboni. A usual episode would have one of the Electric Company in a predicament, leading to the call of... Hey, you guys! The pranksters would try to ruin things for the main heroes, until, by working together, the Electric Company foils the pranksters' plans and comes out on top. In between episodes, animated segments and music videos will be shown related to the episode's word concepts. Like in the original series, we have the Talking Heads and Paul the Gorilla. New segments include the 3 orangutans, Special Agent Jack Bowser, the Music Man, Felix and Oscar, and a whole slew of really great music videos. Honestly, to this day, I still can't get that electric slide video out of my head. The first 2 seasons continued the same story beats, but the 3rd season would see new cast members included, with new Electric Company member Marcus and new prankster Gilda Flip. Animated sequences would also be included at the end of each episode for Prankster Planet, featuring Marcus and Jessica trying to disable the pranksters' inventions, hampering their word powers. Reactions to the new Electric Company were somewhat critical, naturally comparing it to its parent series. Honestly, though, it wasn't too bad for what it was. There were fun characters and great songs, plus some educational tidbits for all the kids at home. And yes, that was Lin-Manuel Miranda. I wonder what guest stars the original series had. Okay, moving on. SciGirls. Produced by Twin Cities Public Television, the same station behind Dragonfly TV, SciGirls is a hybrid animated live-action series focused on STEM development. The animated characters, best friends Izzy and Jake, face a problem, and use STEM problem-solving techniques to get answers. In between the animated segments, we meet groups of middle and high school girls performing STEM-related activities, like say evaluating natural habitats or merging fashion with technology in sports. The series was designed to encourage girls to pursue STEM careers, with low numbers of women in many science and technology fields. In doing so, the live-action segments highlight women already making their marks in STEM research. Fairly admirable.
Oh, well, what clubs do you belong to?
The Cheese Puff Cooking Club and the Frozen Tutus. They were all must-joins.
For natural science, let's bring back the Kratts brothers for another run on PBS. Wild Kratts was created by Chris and Martin Kratt and produced by 9 Story Media Group. The series features animated versions of the Kratts brothers going on creature adventures across the world with their team of researchers, inventor Aviva, computer expert Koki, and pilot Jimmy. Using specially designed creature power suits, they are able to better examine the featured creatures and apply their powers to save the day against a selection of villains. Robotic inventor Zach Varmatek, chef Gaston Gourmand, fashionista Donita Donata, and her dim-witted henchman Dabio. It's no secret that the Kratts brothers have been staples of PBS for years. Granted, those years have made creature adventuring a little tough, so animation would likely be the best path forward. On the transition to animation, the Kratts work very well as their animated counterparts, able to emote believably without sounding disingenuous.
I've always wanted to be a part of the plankton.
The basis of all sea life.
Oh, there are creatures that spend their whole lives floating around here, like amphipods.
While the whole villain shtick seems unnecessary, it does make the series more accessible for modern childhood audiences, plus making the series more fun to watch as a whole.
Huh? Barzaki! What about me? Get up, Sackbot! Fly me home!
And Wild Kratts would be the final new series released for PBS Kids Go. On October 7th, 2013, just under 9 years after its introduction, PBS Kids Go left the airwaves. While shows like Arthur, Cyber Chase, Word Girls, SciGirls, and Wild Kratts would continue airing past the closure, there would no longer be a dedicated programming block for older children's programming on PBS. Not that it's really mattered, though. Despite being targeted at the 6 to 10 demographic, children of all ages enjoyed the show's broadcast on PBS Kids Go. Having an entirely dedicated programming block proved unnecessary. But was it unnecessary from the beginning? I'd have to disagree. The creation of PBS Kids Go not only offered an after-school programming block for kids, but it also offered long-running staples like Arthur and Cyberchase to direct their writing towards older audiences. Compare a post-2013 Arthur episode to a 2007 episode, and the difference in writing is almost night and day. While a post-2013 episode is aimed at a more general audience, the earlier episodes definitely tried to grab the attention of older kids. Similar things could be said about Cyberchase as well. On the whole, PBS Kids Go offered a fresh rebranding for PBS children's programming in the face of ever-growing cable and satellite channels offering programming to children in similar demographics. For what we got through the block, we can be grateful 20 years on. Dagwood, you rascal. So, I guess now it's time to move on to the PBS Member Station Spotlight. Oh, how many times we've gone over across the country just to look at all these stations. Now it's time to pick out a new station. What will it be? Oops. CPTV Connecticut it is. Connecticut Public Television started with station WEDH Hartford, operating from the basement from the Trinity College Library. In 1967, 2 more stations were formed in Norwich and Stamford, creating a statewide network. While originally a member of National Educational Television, the network joined the newly formed Public Broadcasting Service in 1970, after which WEDY New Haven joined the network from Yale University. For a long time, Connecticut Public Television operated in rented space at Trinity College, but in 2004 was moved to a facility in the Asylum Hill neighborhood of Hartford, and a partnership with Sony allowed for an infrastructure upgrade, delivering HD quality broadcasting to its entire viewer base. Programming for Connecticut Public Television includes local programs such as UConn Women's Basketball, Cut Line, Common Ground with Jane Whitney, Resourceful, Restaurant Road Trip, and Where Art Thou?, along with nationally broadcast shows like Scientific American Frontiers with Alan Alda. From 2002 until 2008, CPTV was the American distributor of hit entertainment programming, including Bob the Builder, Thomas and Friends, Make Way for Naughty, Angelina Ballerina, and The Saddle Club. By and large, the network's best-known property, though, is Barney and Friends, distributed by CPTV until 2007. Today, CPTV provides PBS programming to the whole of Connecticut and portions of New York, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. If you are in Connecticut, you can tune in to Connecticut Public Television on these stations, with PBS Kids and CPTV Spirit available on the following sub-channels.
Thank you to everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If so, you know the spiel by now, but also don't forget to support your local PBS stations. So more programming related to PBS Kids Go can find its way to your television screens. And until next time, I'm Captain Rutledge. Good day.
Get up off the couch and go. Jump up from the floor and go. Get up from your chair and go, go, go. And if you're hearing my voice, then there isn't any choice. You should